This is Marley, who is a female. Marley is Havanese mix, and one of Marley's problems is she does not like this thing. So go ahead and roll it a little bit. Now we've been working with her a little bit, so normally she would kind of move away from this, and this movement is very gentle, and this is with one of her guardians, so it's not as extreme as a skateboarder on the street where we have outside all the distractions. I'm going to do something called counterconditioning. When you do counterconditioning, what we're looking to do is we have a subject here, Marley, and the stimulus, which in this case is a skateboard. What we want to do is we want to control the environment and eliminate factors so we can reduce the intensity of the situation so the dog can focus on one thing at a time. Now we just spent a couple minutes with the skateboard just static on the floor, and I was just basically putting treats around it. At first Marley came over and leaned as far away as she could to take the treat. Now she's walking over closer to it, even though it's moving. She'll come over and take it while it's moving. Now that's pretty difficult for her. But because we took our time and we did it when it was static, she's built up a little bit of confidence, and it's moving very slowly, and it's in a safe environment for her. So we've controlled the settings for this experiment. Not really experiment, but so for counter-conditioning, what would sit. So I have the Tricky Trainer chicken liver treats are what I like to use because they're soft and squishy and they have a really strong aroma. I want something that's going to really grab your dog's attention. So what I'm going to do for counter-conditioning is I'm squeezing it and I'm letting her nibble on the treat. As you can tell, I can change her orientation to go up and down by just moving where the treat is. So in this case, I want her looking at the stimulus, in this case the skateboard. And now, my two tests, and she doesn't have to stay in a sit, she could actually be standing for counter-conditioning. I put the dog into a sit and I use the treats because if the stimulus is too intense, it's too close, it's too fast, it's too loud, the dog's going to get up and move away. So if we can get the dog to stay sitting, that's a way of the dog saying, I'm comfortable with this enough to stay in a disadvantageous position of a sit. If I'm standing, I'm ready to run right away. If I'm sitting, I have to get up, then I can start running. So when you counter-condition a dog, we need to make sure the dog is not fearful of whatever the stimulus is, otherwise we invalidate the whole experiment. So let's say that we had to move, this is just an easy step we're doing inside, and so now make it a little bit, step on it a little bit more, and a little bit more intensity. Let's stop it. So when you're doing counter conditioning, you only want and stop it right there, you only want the stimulus engaged while the dog is getting a high value treat, because what we're trying to accomplish and what we're here to start to associate, when skateboards arrive, I get the tastiest treats I've ever had. And that right there, she's going towards it and there's no reward on there. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this again. This time I'm gonna have you go all the way to about this line right here. Let me move her over here so we have a good camera presentation, because you're a pretty dog and we want people to see you. Let me lure you over here. Okay, 13. And go ahead and bump me with it. There you go. And now kind of back up a little bit more and kind of somewhat up, sit. So when she's getting ready to be done with the treat, then we have the skateboard stop. So back up a little bit more, and next time I tell you a number, I want you to kind of just fling it at me, not super duper fast so it hurts me, but it's going to hit me. All right, 9. That's all right. All right, so next time let's do about twice that speed.
Okay.
7.
What is having the dog look at the skateboard?
Yes. We want the dog to look at it and see it approaching while the treat is being delivered. Now this is actually pretty advanced. Usually a dog, once the skateboard came, the dog would give up the treat and run away. So when we're doing this outside, we're going to do it a little bit different. Let's do it again. No reaction, because I'm more interested in the treat than the stimulus. So this is inside. So what I would have you do is practice this sort of scenario inside, and don't just do it right here, do it back there in the kitchen, different parts of the house. You know, we don't want to be riding the skateboard in the house, but you know, the more sounds and stuff that we can make to prepare her for outside, the better. So then what we would want to do for actual counter conditioning is like go somewhere, maybe we're practically at, the boardwalk is 2 blocks away in Santa Monica and Venice. There's a lot of skateboarders, Venice-y and tetanus shot, but you can still do it. So what we want to do is find an area where there are people riding the skateboards like in a specific direction. We want to find a distance that I can get Marley to sit at and still see the skateboards and not get up or want to run away or stop taking the treat. So let's say we're at 25 yards. Now, the type of skateboard is going to matter as well. If it's somebody who's like a Tony Hawk or, I don't know, skateboarder, but some really good skateboarder who's doing a handstand, crazy moves, that is going to trigger more of a response from the dog than somebody just riding a skateboard normally. So the intensity matters. So we're going to find a situation where somebody's just walking it normally. We're going to be at 25 feet. That's where she can sit and take the treat. Actually, sit. Go ahead and do it really fast towards me. So that little bump caused her to stop for a sec, but now she's still taking the treats. So what we do is, let's say at 25 feet, and let's say there's a path going here, and the skateboarder traffic is going that way. So I want her to sit. I want her to track the skateboarder as it passes. I'm going to move, so she's going to watch it. As soon as the skateboarder goes away, the treat goes away. And then I go down, and there's another skateboarder coming. Boom. Just nibbling on it. Skateboard goes away, treat goes away. So we do this at 25 feet, or whatever the distance that she tells us where she can stay sitting and take the treat. But she starts looking around, then we're too close. We don't want her to react at all. If we do, we invalidate the whole thing. So at 25 feet, we might have to practice 2 or 3 days in a row. At 25 feet, she's like, I'm golden. So then we move a step forward, and we go to 24 feet. And we practice 24 feet away from the path where the skateboarder's going. And we practice that until she's nice and calm and relaxed. Then we go to 23 and so on and so forth until we eventually get to the path is right here. And she's watching the skateboards come by, just eating the treat the whole time. So this is the problem with this is most people don't have the patience for it. Sit. They want to move too fast. We have an instant gratification society. We want it now. So this, you have to go slow at the dog's pace until the dog feels comfortable with the skateboard. Then we can start having a more advantage or more aggressive skateboarders. Maybe somebody's yelling, or somebody who's on the skateboard and running and really going fast. At first, we want to try to get if possible, since you probably have some buddies that ride skateboards, we want to have your buddies help out so you can control them. So maybe we go down to we're in between we're in Santa Monica, but there's like the boardwalk in Venice is really crazy. In Santa Monica, it's the pier area, but there's not the same thing as in Venice where we have that hectic and the snake show and all that crap. So basically, we want to find an area where it's relatively sedate, where you can control and have like 4 buddies. Okay, we're going to go by at level 1 speed at that distance, and then she's good. Then we go to level 2 speed. And eventually, you're going like as fast as they can, where they're doing tricks and they're getting up on railings and doing crazy stuff. We can move to different environments. But eventually, the dog's just like, oh, skateboard, where's my treats? Hook me up. So we change it from being a negative to a positive perception. Sit. And that's a good positive reinforcer. So this is how we can use counterconditioning to help the dog stop fearing a stimulus like a skateboard, a bicycle, a jogger, one of those people that use those things called the 2-wheel things, a Segway, whatever it is, a car, anything. So cars, we go to a street where there's a lot of traffic coming down, and you have to keep on finding the distance until she can sit and not react and continue eating the treat. And she's nice and calm at that distance. Then next time we go, we do it a little bit closer. Now it doesn't have to be every day. We want in between each practice iteration the dog to sleep, nap or something. As they sleep, their neural pathways will align. So when dogs sleep, they kind of categorize and file away all the information they learned. So if you teach something to a dog and then have them sleep and then come and practice again, they'll have better recollection and better perception for it.
That's amazing.
Now, one last thing, for counterconditioning, it's a little bit different. But for traditional training, dogs, especially puppies, now she's not a puppy, but puppies' neurons get tired and they get fatigued. So when you're doing training, typically you're going to get the best response of the first 1 minute to 2 minutes. The 3rd minute, you'll start getting some failures. The neurons start getting fatigued, just like we can only run so far. And then you get to the 4th or 5th minute, and then you'll get more failures than successes, and we start getting frustrated. And eventually the dog just stops doing the act that we want, and we're like, I know you know how to sit. Why are you being a jerk? The dog, it's like we can only lift weights so much, and you can have the guy saying, keep curling. I can't. I've burned through all the energy that I have, and I have acid in my muscles or whatever. I'm clearly not a weightlifter. But we get to the point where we just can't do it anymore. So what we want to do is always end on a good note. My apprentice Tara always reminds me, I sometimes forget. So the dog has a positive recollection of the activity the next time we do it. And then we want to make sure to keep it 1 or 2 minute training sessions, and then let the dog sleep in between, then practice it again. Now in this situation for the counterconditioning, after doing something like this, I might pull out like a bully stick or a pull toy or a ball or something that she really likes to do. After we do the work, she gets a little playtime. She gets a favorite massage. She gets a special treat or whatever it is. So that the last thing she remembers about that activity was something that I really enjoyed doing. So like I said, this is how we can use counter-conditioning to help a dog stop reacting out of fear to something that is startling or causing them to be fearful.